Hey y'all, Tom, ND3N here, and thanks for dropping by my little shack in the corner for a ham shack chat. This time I want to take a moment and talk to the new hams out there, and you can define if you're a new ham or not. If you're feeling overwhelmed in this shared hobby of ours, you're not alone. We've all been through it, myself included. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 tips. And these tips will apply generally to virtually all new hams, some maybe even more experienced hams, and some people even just maybe thinking about ham radio. Now that you have your ticket, you are a licensed amateur radio operator. No one can take that away from you. But your ticket is just a key that opens up the entire world of ham radio. It's like a line of doors. You've got the key. You decide which door you're going to open. Now, like many before you, you want to do everything. And not only do you want to do everything, but you want to become an expert in all of it as well. Which brings me to my first tip. Take it slow. Find one thing that interests you. Do your research, your reading, talk to your friends, search on YouTube, and set your station up to do that one thing. Set aside some time every week to get experience in that one thing. And then after a few weeks learning that one thing and experiencing that one thing, add something else to learn. Rinse and repeat. Build up your skills slowly. It won't be long until you pass beyond being just a licensed amateur radio operator, that's what the government calls you, and starting to become a ham. Stick with me through a little rambling here. Some new hams have a lot of money to throw around, but most are limited in their finances.
I'm broke too.
None of that matters though. There are all kinds of different rigs available at all price ranges. There are used rigs on the market for a much lower cost, though the principle of caveat emptor, let the buyer beware, certainly apply. You could check ham swap meets and maybe go with a friend from your club. Get their opinion on the rigs that are being sold there. And speaking of club, ask around. There may be someone in your club willing to loan you a radio or sell one to you. This comes with the benefit of having someone you can call for help when you're trying to learn how to use the rig. You can build your own antennas, and there are plenty of instructional videos on how to do that. If you live in an apartment or a condo, you can actually string a dipole along a hallway or in an attic. Now, it's not optimal, but it'll get you on the air. All of that old stuff talks about limits. Limits are what every ham, old and new, have to deal with. And that whole discussion was about my second tip. Know your limits.
That man has no limits.
Knowing your limits is the first step in dealing with your limits. Set a goal, then identify the limits that will maybe not prevent, but keep you from reaching your goals. Then come up with a plan to reach your goals while staying within your limits. Like I said, we've all been through this. We've all got some experience with this. Ask around. You're going to find somebody who's probably been in your exact same position and found a way around it. This next part is probably the most controversial part of this whole video. But please stick with me to the end. I'll try to make sense. It's not all bad. One thing that few people will tell you is that you are going to be frustrated at times. You're going to find out things about ham radio that weren't as advertised in the magazines or in your classes or in most online resources. And even in those personal connections you've made where people were trying to convince you to become a ham. I'm not going to say they lied, but maybe they didn't tell the whole truth. When this happens, and it's happened to a lot, if not most of us, just stick with it. Don't give up.
No, never give up, never surrender.
Make your own way in this fabulous hobby, and don't feel like you need to measure up to anyone else. Give it time. Find your niche, and soon you'll find that you have become an expert, and you'll be more than a licensed amateur radio operator. You'll be a ham. I'm going to take a few of you back, and maybe some of you haven't quite reached this stage yet, but I hope you can make the connection. Remember when you first passed your driver's license test? It didn't matter if you aced the written and driving test. If you scored well enough, you became a licensed vehicle operator. At least that's what the state called you. It wasn't until you put hours or years behind the wheel and got miles and miles under your tires before you became a driver. Now, your first car probably wasn't a Ferrari, and your first trip wasn't NASCAR.
Yeah, see, people go to NASCAR hoping for a crash.
It probably took a while before you felt comfortable driving too far from home. But as you gained experience, you found that taking it slow, knowing your limits, never giving up despite disappointments along the way was how you became an experienced and safe driver. And it's the same way with ham radio. Thanks for dropping by my little shack in the corner for a Ham Shack chat. My hope with this video is that these tips would provide you some encouragement, and I hope I did that. Please, give me a like by popping that thumbs up button. Please share this with your friends, especially on ham-related social media. And please leave a comment. Constructive criticism is always welcome. And if you have a specific concern, please share it with me and everyone. I'll try to come up with an answer, and I invite anyone else to jump onto the comment and provide your answers as well. As always, at your service, I'm Tom, ND3N 73. Until the next time, I'm out.